One day, my boyfriend and my girlfriend betrayed me.
A program to find out if your partner's really the one for life. Will there be temptation in money or success? The total prize is $500 million. So let's test your partner's loyalty. The schoolgirls compared this show to another Korean show. They all seemed to be identical, but they were desperate to see the winner. When is it going to start? It's time to introduce the cast. The steam war begins. A few months ago, a girl pondered over the combination of her look, a blue top and jeans with a unique design, and the finishing touch. The leather top gave charisma. Yang Tae-rin was ready, a 25-year-old girl from the fashion department. She was adored and welcomed by everyone, giving various compliments. And now it was time for the presentation. The heroine was quite erudite and fashion savvy. Yes, she was a badass. Of course, being too perfect isn't always for people, so sometimes you have to make mistakes. Like now, here comes Gong Joa. She's 23 years old, also from the fashion department. The girls had never spoken before, but it seems the last one was a little secretive. Why did she ignore Yang Tae-rin? Could it be different with Cho Ji-yeonmo? He's 25 years old, he's the main character's boyfriend, and they live together. He obviously didn't know anything about fashion. He needs help now he can safely take a picture and post it. The kids had a new neighbor. Maybe he was from their school. Bong Yeon-sik, a 23-year-old guy from the composition department. He knew Gong Joa. The girl helped him with unpacking. She told him that her sunbae had said hello to her today, and she was so excited that she didn't respond. And it bothered her so much. Wasn't that strange? Gong Joa was just avoiding her. But how did Yang Tae-rin know her name? The guy was the only one who said she was beautiful, and he was going to say it every day. But a couple of months later, the protagonist and her neighbor began to have a somewhat unusual relationship. And now the first couple was to be introduced on the show. Cho Guillermo and Gong Joa. The second couple, however, was Yang Tae-rin and Bong Yeon-sik. What was going on? How did it happen? I wonder how they got to this point. One afternoon, Bong Yeon-sik and Gong Joa were going out for something. Even though the girl was a little worried, she still wanted to sing again. So she put on her mask and gave herself to the music. Not as many people showed up as they had hoped. But it was the first showcase. Her voice sounded familiar to many, so she grabbed Bong Yeon-sik and asked him to leave. The guys ran into a crowd of people who had come to watch the other performers. Gong Joa was upset because she was no match for that girl. At this time, Cho Go-yeonmo was looking at his profile. He was constantly being sent private messages by girls. Of course, it was expected. He should have taken care of his subscribers. And his girlfriend's words were making him blush so much. Yang Tae-rin made a plan for shopping, but the budget was limited. It was necessary to make every effort. Cho Gi-yeonmo had been on the diet for 3 months, so he had to try on a new outfit. And Yang Tae-rin couldn't wait to see it all. It was time to go shopping. The main character was having fun picking out outfits for Cho Gi-yeonmo. Maybe she should make a pair of outfits. Sure, they spent a lot of money, but it was definitely worth it. Yang Tae-rin loved fashion so much that their shopping center would become mega cool. Having fun every day with Cho Gi-yeonmo, planning the future together, feeling so young, cool, and awesome. Back then, the protagonist seemed like she could do anything. Until this meeting happened. Cho Jeonnam thought Gong Joa was pretty cute, and she herself answered someone on the phone that she'd just bumped into someone by accident. He looked like a model, like a celebrity. Bong Yeon-sik, on the other hand, complimented her. She couldn't take her eyes off him. It was unusual for her to dress up. She's so cute. Maybe she'll perform without a mask today. But Gong Joa still wasn't ready for that. She could be recognized as a former singer, and it made her sad. Recently, one very popular debutante had been noticed. She was so bright and winding. Gong Joa watched the video and reasoned that she looked like an ordinary girl with unremarkable looks. That must have been the reason for her disappearance. But Bong Yeon-sik didn't think so. He loved her and thought that Gongjua's face was beautiful and her voice was unparalleled. It was a pity that the girl had said goodbye to all the things from her past life. Those words gave her confidence. After a while, she was lucky enough to find one CD after all. Brilliant Idol's Lost album. That is hers. Bong Yeon-sik wanted to take it for himself, and she wasn't sorry at all. It was a priceless item to him. At this time, Yang Tae-rin was walking by and saw some guy hitting on Gong-jua. He wanted to chat with her, but it clearly wasn't mutual. The protagonist approached them and pretended to be her friend, asking the questionable guy about it. He was confused by this. Such a murky type was holding a nice girl against her will. This inhibited short guy even dared to insult Yang Tae-rin, but she was not embarrassed by it at all. She was completely confident in herself and her words. Of course, what should she be afraid of? The stranger didn't even manage to reply and just turned around, walking away. Gong-jua thanked her. Yang Tae-rin, on the other hand, told her to immediately talk about the fact that she would have to write a report if he kept prying without asking. They had often bumped into each other, but this was the first time they had spoken. Gong-jua usually didn't participate in social activities, but Yang Tae-rin still suggested that she take a vacation together, and she seemed to be embarrassed by it, in a good way. The girl reached her boyfriend's apartment, but forgot exactly where the door was. Gong-jua left her album at the door and texted Bong Yeon-sik about it, except he didn't have that bag. Yang Tae-rin got the album. Cho Gi-um thought it was an advertisement and threw the CD in the trash. Bong Yeon-sik, on the other hand, tried to find it, because it was a rarity. And so when Yang Tae-rin went out to throw away the trash, the guy asked if she found the disc in her bag. The girl went back to the apartment, but the disc had vanished somewhere. Yang Tae-rin came back to say that the album had gone somewhere and she couldn't find it. But she didn't need to anymore. Bong Yeon-sik was angry. That's how their flawed relationship began. The guy wanted it to be a joke, but Yang Tae-rin explained that the disc was in her bag and she'd only brought it into the house. Except Bong Yeon-sik said she had no right to throw his thing in the trash. The main character was already screaming. She was being accused of something she didn't do. Such a slight misunderstanding led to the new neighbor no longer wanting to date Yang Tae-rin. Except the girl wanted an explanation. She wanted to say something else. Trash? Bong Yeon-sik should have bagged up all the trash and only then left. He's the one who made a mess. What a temper that guy has. They pissed each other off and went back to their apartment. Yang Tae-rin wanted to know what kind of album it was. It must have been an old singer. In the past, this song was a super hit. The artist released just one song and disappeared somewhere. And it was Gong-jua. Yang Tae-rin didn't even know about it. And it seems like her faculty didn't either. Then that neighbor was an ardent fan of hers. It seems like the girl really screwed up at Yang Tae-rin's faculty party in Gong-jua's basement. Everyone complimented her that she looked peerless, but it was true. As it turned out, Gong-jua was going to inject herself with filler. She wanted to look her best because she hadn't seen her classmates in a long time. Just for one day. Except that at the street performance, the girl also wanted to perform without a mask. Gong-jua wanted to become more beautiful so that no one could snatch away the former singer in her. Bong Yeon-sik didn't bother to discourage her. Her classmates were happy to see her. They wanted to have a blast, so they suggested a game that Yang Tae-rin adored. Gong-jua was always losing. She was asked to sing once again, and one of the guys even reminded her of Brilliant Idol, the singer. Yang Tae-rin decided to take matters into her own hands and stepped in. She was terrible at singing. Gong-jua was fun though. The girl thanked her and confessed her secret, but the protagonist was already aware of it. Gong-jua thought she was cool, and the girl in turn wanted to always talk to her because Gong-jua reminded her of one person, the guy she loved. They would definitely see each other more often now. The girls had a lunch together, tried on clothes made by Yang Tae-rin, tried new things, and chatted. That's when the main character told her about a place, which she regretted very much. The casting call for people who want to test their feelings. On the show The Couple Breaker has finally been announced. Gong-jua inquired if Bong Yeon-sik had seen Love Signal, but the guy could only hear about it. As it turned out, the producers had launched a new show, and it featured couples. There was a lot of excitement. Details were not known, but probably, to earn a cash prize, you have to touch the partner of another couple. Who would even agree to that? One would have to be an interested person. It's unlikely that Bong Yeon-sik will watch this show. Of course, Gong Jo wanted to dress the same way as Yang Tae-rin. Did the girl really only wear branded items? But the heroine shopped either online or at imported stores. Did Yang Tae-rin see the announcement for the new show? As it turns out, yes, from her boyfriend. The other female students thought she'd be perfect for it, except she had a boyfriend. The girl didn't want to become famous. So it seemed a little strange, and why were those girls laughing all the time? Did this situation seem funny to them? Cho Young-myomo was also handsome, so the others thought they were a colorful couple. Meanwhile, Gong Jua was quietly thinking about her own thoughts. She had no appetite lately. The girl said she was dieting. Now, she was definitely embarrassed by the mask she had to hide behind. Bong Yeon-sik offered to increase the number of appearances, but Gong Jo wanted him to change his image. It wasn't enough for her. She thought that if they were a colorful couple, they'd have more fans. What a disgruntled person. Gong Jo tried to make him look like Yang Tae-rin's boyfriend. Was she the one who advised her to lose weight and get a facial? Couldn't even answer. After a while, Bong Yeon-sik saw his roommate, who 100% had a special connection with the security guard. They even chatted informally. Was there no respect at all? That's insolent. There was an aura of contempt emanating from him. However, Yang Tae-rin didn't care. The next time she put away the soju bottles, Bong Yeon-sik was amazed at her stamina. What was it this time? Lately, the girl had been busy preparing for the opening of the shopping center, disturbing even the neighbors. But the strange neighbor continued to gawk at her like this. What was that stare again? Gong Jo had an audition this day, and the girl didn't even bother to eat something. She needs her strength. This was clearly already too much. She didn't even feel like responding to this, so she just left. But on the way out, she fainted. Wow. At the star party for the launch of Nice Cho Gyeommo's new products, Kyungmo was meeting his buddies. One of them asked if anyone was in the new show. The concept is quite provocative, which is a bit risky, but it definitely guaranteed success. If Cho Gyeommo participated, it would create a sensation. His girlfriend was a fashion student and had a sense of style, which meant he had to go on the show. There were even rumors that the man's style and account were influenced by Yang Tae-rin, which made him very wary. It seems like it was true. The next day, however, Cho Gyeommo had some kind of request for her. About them and the show The Couple Breaker. He wanted to participate. What a twist. Although it was expected. And in his opinion, or maybe someone else's, this reality show was a success waiting to happen. If they participated, they could definitely become popular. Why was this idea so appealing to him? Did the guy really want to go on it? It's not that easy. You could be criticized from all sides, but Cho Gyeommo said that if Yang Tae-rin was by his side, he could handle anything. Except right now, they were too busy preparing the shopping center. Did they have any free time for Yang Tae-rin right now? The project came first. However, Cho Gyeommo stood his ground. He didn't hear her. The girl didn't need other people's admiration, much less popularity. She had no desire to participate in the show. Now he's dumping all the blame on her. Turns out it was Yang Tae-rin who didn't hear him. The man turned to shouting. He was afraid that he was going to be stuck in the same place. He hadn't had an increase in subscribers for a long time. What else was there to do? It was important for him to get that admiration. Cho Gyeommo wanted to become famous. Yang Tae-rin remained calm. Where did he get such thoughts from? He became more confident and successful than before. So what had happened? Gong Jua, on the other hand, ended up going to the emergency room. But even now she was still thinking about the audition. What was she even thinking about? Does it matter right now? She needed to rest and be examined by doctors. However, the girl's message was that she would regret her whole life if she didn't end up there. It was maddening. Bong Yeon-sik was furious. And yet, she made it into the audition audience. One of the jury members didn't even know that Gong Jua performed under the pseudonym Brilliant Idol, but why didn't she write about it? But even so, the man didn't see the highlight of her performance. She sang well, but something was still missing. What about her looks? Her style was unattractive and even colorless. The audition was awful. Gong Jua didn't know what kind of person they wanted to see. Someone like Yang Tae-rin. And why hadn't she eaten anything again? Did she feel like riding in an ambulance again? Gong Jua was still very attractive and slim even now, but it wasn't enough for that. Anyway, she had already definitely decided to correct her face. Plastic surgery or liposuction? Chin surgery. Bong Yoon-sik didn't want to hear that. He was still silent about fillers and Botox, but this was going over the top. Gong Jua was definitely talking some nonsense. She felt like Bong Yoon-sik was purposely discouraging her because he didn't want to support her. He pissed her off, and the girl ran away. Yang Tae-rin, on the other hand, came up with a jacket design and made a sample. Cho Gi-young-mo looked stunning in it. The best shopping center model ever, and how would it look on her? As it turned out, their store would be selling unisex merchandise, lingerie aside. Even on her, the jacket fit perfectly. She was getting high that she constantly managed to create special things. Yang Tae-rin joked that Cho Gi-young-mo didn't match her, but that really pissed him off. The guy defiantly walked out and closed the door. He didn't even answer the phone. The girl went back inside and almost missed the elevator. Inside was Bong Yoon-sik, who had purposely tried to close the door. What was he doing? Because he didn't want to ride together. Cho Yeon-mo, on the other hand, went to his favorite bar. And after there, Gong Jua walked in. His gaze gently enveloped her frail figure, for the girl was crying. At that moment, their relationship cracked. Gong Jua recognized him as he recognized her. The guy really impressed her then. He had a cool style, so she figured he was some kind of celebrity. But Cho Yeon-mo was just a freelance model, and he had a lot of followers. Although he didn't find it surprising. Gong Jua didn't have any social media accounts, which was strange. After all, with her beauty, a girl could easily gain popularity. She seemed so charming to him on their first meeting. Both of them had their hearts beating faster. But Yang Tae-rin was glad that she had caught her neighbor. She had always wondered why this guy kept throwing strange glances at her. It was like she was some kind of bedbug, even though Bong Yoon-sik denied it. But it happened every time. It was like a cat and a dog getting into a fight. Electric charges were hurling from the elevator. But still, they went back to their apartments. Yang Tae-rin threw in one last quip, that if her neighbor kept glaring at her like that, she wouldn't just let it go. Bong Yoon-sik, on the other hand, couldn't stand her. Their partners, on the other hand, were enjoying each other's company. Gong Jua always wanted to be famous, and Cho Gi-young-mo was sure that she would succeed because she had a cute and expressive appearance. However, he did not yet know what a coward his new pal was. The girl was contemplating beauty injections or plastic surgery, because that way, in her opinion, she would become much more confident. Except that the people around her were against it. Is it so bad to want to change yourself? She wanted it. That's why she was angry. Cho Gi-young-mo objected. Who even dared to say such nonsense? He understood her. If one wanted to become more beautiful, why not? Today, it's not a big deal to go and get an operation. He wanted to help her, like being a help to her. He promised to make her beautiful, only if Gong Jua herself wanted it. Her heart was pounding frantically. The girl thought that her conversation partner had starred in various shows. And as it turned out, he had recently received one offer just recently. A new show? No. Not from them. Gong Jua wanted to definitely appear in such a program. It was such a chance to become a star. That's great. Cho Gi-young-mo still didn't understand. By becoming more attractive, she would be able to gain popularity, especially when he had taken it upon himself to help. Was she really that attractive? There was a spark between them. And the motorcyclist only contributed to that even more. Famous and gorgeous. That was how she saw Cho Gi-young-mo. He was the only one who said he could definitely help her. Gong Jua made the first move, but it came as a surprise to both of them. Once again, she ran away. A real coward. Was it really all a dream? Even Yang Tae-rin was wondering what her boyfriend had been up to last night. That's right, doing what? Yang Tae-rin wanted to know where he went because he didn't come back in a sober state. The man only laughed. So the girl changed the subject and announced that they had to go somewhere. To Yeonjonggo Island. She had wanted to go there for a long time. Gong Jua, on the other hand, thought back to last night and what she had done without thinking. What a fool! She must be out of her mind. Bong Yoon-sik suggested she go for a walk in the fresh air, which was a good idea. The weather was nice outside. As it turned out, Yang Tae-rin and Cho Gi-young-mo had already been here on their first trip. It's been so long. It was unbelievable. It was as if it was yesterday. Everyone at school always wondered what Yang Taerin would do next. And once again, the girl showed up naked as usual. It was a rebellion against the school uniform, where she was trying to get herself to be allowed to wear casual clothes. Except the school administration wouldn't budge. How could they change standards that were approved 80 years ago? Teachers thought uniforms were supposed to be a little uncomfortable, and their school was the only one that wore it. None of her classmates were going to support her. Why couldn't she be like everyone else? Cho Gyeong-mo was the only one who admired her. Really, Yang Taerin was cool. His, on the other hand, was always different. Wherever the couple went, everyone kept saying that the girl was wasting her time on the man. Couldn't they see how cute he was? Cho Gyeong-mo was her shadow. Knew nothing about style and how to look pretty. But Yang Taerin thought he was attractive, and she even wanted to help him become even more unique than he was now. It all started with an Instagram and 1,000 followers. She was right, and now they were lighting Bengal lights on the beach. Yang Taerin next to him was happy. But what about him? He thought of Gong Jua, who by the way was with Bong Yeon-sik at this moment, except she wasn't happy. The girl remembered the first day of university. That's when Bong Yeon-sik recognized her. He recognized her as the singer who suddenly disappeared. From her voice, he's liked her songs for a long time. But Gong Jua just ran away. She was afraid that rumors would spread, and so she tried to avoid the strange guy. The next time she met him, he apologized and gave her his song. Maybe that's what killed her. In real life, she didn't seem to feel that thrill anymore. And so the two couples met, all four of them hiding their secret. Such an unexpected twist. The guys decided to have dinner together, although the atmosphere was so-so for everyone. Yang Taerin didn't know that her friend was her roommate's girlfriend. She introduced Cho Gyeong-mo, whom she already knew. The two felt embarrassed and decided to have some privacy. Bong Yeon-sik and Yang Taerin were left alone. Now she could see why the neighbor was angry about the disc. So he was some kind of an ardent fan. Although even Bong Yeon-sik was surprised, because his girlfriend was always leading story about her beautiful friend. But who would have thought that she would turn out to be Yang Taerin? But what's with the weird atmosphere again? Cho Gyeong-mo, on the other hand, seemed to be waiting for the girl from last night to approach him. They were silent for a while until they realized what had really happened and what kind of joke fate had played on them. Gong Jua had left him for the second time with a rapidly beating heart. It clearly wasn't a mistake, and he wouldn't be able to forget it. Cho Gyeong-mo ran after her until she stopped. The man was going crazy. He didn't understand what was happening to him. But Gong Jua wanted to say that Cho Gyeong-mo was dating someone special, like Yang Taerin. How hard it was for her to say those words. But to him, Gong Jua looked just as special. Both of them thought at the same time that this was not the right thing to do. They can't, but they want to. The next day, Cho Gyeong-mo was a little strange and downcast. He was on the phone all day, just like Gong Jua. Bong Yeon-sik was tense about it too. By the evening, the two met and didn't even respond to their partners' calls and messages. At the university, Gong Jua was also acting a bit aloof, even with Yang Taerin. But what was going on, no one understood. And even her birthday, the girl spent her birthday with Cho Gyeong-mo. And after a while, he asked Yang Taerin for a breakup. Cho Gyeong-mo packed his bags and didn't look her in the eye. What was he even talking about? Why did everything happen so suddenly? The man told Yang Taerin not to call him anymore. Her friends could sense that there was something wrong with him. Right, as it turned out, no one liked him. Only Cho Gyeong-mo would regret his choice. The girl was sure that he would be without anything. Gong Jua and Bong Yeon-sik had also broken up. So was this the end? I mean, he didn't even give her the gift. Maybe it's for the best. Even her album was hard to part with. Yang Taerin kept thinking about the time she spent alone with Cho Gyeong-mo. She wanted to build a future together with him. Then it happened, the man shared a publication for the first time in a long time. In the photo, he was with Gong Jua. Could it all be a dream? The girl started ringing the doorbell of her neighbor, who was clearly not happy to have guests. She was interested in a single question. Had Bong Yeon-sik broken up with Gong Jua? What did she want to hear from him? Where in the world did she live? Cho Gyeong-mo and Gong Jua weren't answering their phone calls. No one knew their whereabouts. So the guy could be at her place. Bong Yeon-sik asked that his flighty neighbor leave him alone. and the door slammed shut. What a pushy one. Even then, she kept knocking and yelling. How did Cho Gyeong-mo even have the nerve to post something like that on social media? Yang Taran was freaking out, and Bong Yoon-sik was remembering his ex-girlfriend asking him to change his image, how angry she was at him. The premise had been known for a long time, but Yang Taran would definitely not wish for their happiness. There was such darkness coming from these two apartments. The aura would have to be cleaned. While they were suffering from the betrayal, Cho Gyeong-mo received a message from the director's team of the couple Breaker. The opportunity for revenge will come soon. People have slowly started to recognize Cho Gyeong-mo and former singer Brilliant Idol. What was their relationship like? Was it the same singer? It was only speculation, as there was no official confirmation. But the face and voice were definitely hers. Cho Gyeong-mo's account skyrocketed. The likes and followers started to increase, and the content expanded. And both of them were overjoyed, although Gong Joo was still fixated on the negative comments. She wanted to dream with him, to become famous together. Both of them in their fantasies. Intoxicated with happiness and cute images, they had completely forgotten about the people they had dreamed about before. The content of the new show is to test their love to the limit when four couples show up and start interacting with the opposite party in any way. It is an experimental format program that brings out the weaknesses and vulnerabilities in a relationship. The intent was really serious. But in the case of Cho Gyeong-mo and Gong Joo, then all they had to do was play the role of a couple who would demonstrate the strength of their love. The guys were also interested in this, however. Would it be necessary to make a statement that Gong Joo used to be a singer? Their plan was to not just mention it in passing, but to make it official as well. Wouldn't this be a great opportunity for her? The girl was afraid of exposing her shameful past, which was why she didn't want to promote herself under the name Brilliant Idol. But Cho Gyeong-mo thought that it would be wrong if she continued to hide like this. Her whole life, they would wrap it in their favor so that they could become even more popular. Their desire to become famous. Gong Joo had to let everyone see her face and talent if she really wanted to become successful. The girl asked him to make a promise to never betray each other, not to fight, and only move forward after breaking up with their exes. He, on the other hand, was sure that their love was stronger than those who had been together for 5 or 10 years. Would they definitely make it work? They wanted to believe that they would definitely make it through all the difficulties and obstacles. There were already various rumors about their participation, and Yang Taran's friends were recognizing Cho Gyeong-mo as her boyfriend. No one understood what was going on, so they called her. Yang Taran didn't deny that they had broken up, but she wasn't worried about it anymore. She was just angry. But everyone was sure that Cho Gyeong-mo had only risen to the top because of her. There's no arguing about it. But they'd already gotten over it, even if the memories couldn't be erased. It was leaked online that in order to prove their love, each of the couple had to be intimate with the other by walking on a knife edge. A thought leaked into Yang Taran's mind. A thought of something that should not have been done under any circumstances. An idea that shouldn't have crossed her mind. She ran to her roommate and inquired that he was already aware of it. The guy was very upset and was having a hard time dealing with it. What did she want from him? Revenge. Yang Taran couldn't accept that their former partners were now living a happy life. The thought of teaming up and getting revenge in a new show settled in her mind. A crazy idea that should have never existed. Bong Yoon-sik gave no answer, but warned that he was about to close the door. Yang Taran couldn't bear to see him go, and so pulled away by the collar. She sounded completely serious. The intention of the reality show was to break up couples in love. Isn't that the best place to get revenge? The guy didn't understand what his crazy neighbor was even talking about, so he just tried to escape. Except today was the deadline to apply to participate. Still, Bong Yoon-sik closed the door. But Yang Taran decided to cheat on something. She spent the whole night typing out the show application herself. The next day, Bong Yoon-sik was watching TV, but thought about a social networking site that he purposely didn't log into. He came across Gong Joo's account where the girl was singing his song. Now then, the guy changed his mind. He came to Yang Taran himself to see exactly how they were going to carry out their revenge. She was already waiting for him. The first was to pretend that they had been dating for 5 days, because it was couples that were needed to participate. But for that, they needed to come up with a plausible backstory. They were going to leave out the fact that they had both gone through a breakup, and then after meeting and going on a date, found comfort in each other. And the reason they got their hearts broken in the past is because their exes felt attracted to each other. They cheated, used, and left them alone. That was the story as the reason for their relationship. Thus, they created a couple that formed 5 days ago. Unfortunately, Bong Yoon-sik didn't even have any photos of them. The guys filed into the show to face off against Cho Young-mo and Gong. There were already 5 minutes left. Why? To denounce their exes and show everyone the injustice they had to face. The application was successfully submitted. Notification of the review status would be sent out in about a week. So now all that was left to do was wait. Would they pass, or would they fail in this attempt? Young Taerin had no idea, but she only wanted to exact revenge. What would happen if they did succeed? So that's the meaning behind the phrase. What's worse, letting go right away or making them regret it, choosing between the bad option and the just plain awful option, eagerly awaiting the results. Their application had been accepted. Young Taerin's premonition did not fail. About the style, they must have just fallen in love with her style after seeing the pictures. The next step would be an interview where they got to play a couple. Except something had to be done about Bong Yoon-sik. He couldn't come to the interview looking like that. No way! Even now, the image of Gong Joa was popping up in his mind, talking about changing his image. But would Yang Taerin be able to help him? He never had his own style and taste in clothes because he wasn't interested in such things. But Bong Yoon-sik would like to try to change with her help so that everyone can now only see the best version of him. So he turned to a professional. It was stunning. Yang Taerin couldn't imagine that her roommate would look so attractive. She'd hate to admit it, but it seems like they're really going to make it work. Anyway, looks were important, of course, but they should have worked on the rest of it as well. The guys needed to practice acting like a couple. But Yang Taerin's ways didn't really appeal to Bong Yoon-sik. The guy didn't want to embarrass himself that much. Maybe he should have been reminded that they were just going to get back at their exes. What would he do to succeed when he didn't even have connections in the right industry? Well, try to shine with talent. You need to be able to do at least one thing, or better yet, all of them at once. And one could start with a sweet nickname for couples. Bong Yoon-sik didn't even realize that. Except that Yang Taerin wasn't happy about these nicknames either. Why was he breaking down like that? How are they supposed to believe that they're really dating? Need to put more emotion and confidence into his speech. They spent a lot of time trying. Even though they were trying, Yang Taerin, on the other hand, hoped that Bong Yoon-sik could do it all. He had even practiced in front of the mirror, but her image kept popping up in his mind. Well, they'd have to rehearse the phrase, "Hello, this is Yang Bong." The day of the interview came. The first couple used a conversational style intentionally. The second couple couldn't concentrate and couldn't stop worrying. There were even individuals except the jury didn't manage to pick anyone up. If things continued like this, they would be in big trouble. However, the next pair seemed to be quite entertaining. A couple that had only been dating for 5 days. The next candidates walked in. Everyone opened their mouths in amazement at Yang Taerin and Bong Yoon-sik, and it was true. They looked great. This couple was made to be in the show. They were so energetic, even though they had only met each other for a short time. Could they show the power of their love? Something that people would watch their reality show for. The judges wanted to make sure that Yang Taerin and Bong Yoon-sik were not pretending, but were real partners. The girl claimed that the length of the relationship didn't play a role. They're going to give it some more heat. They are a 5-day-old couple who can absolutely do anything. But what is it? Something went wrong. Bong Yoon-sik pretended to be offended by the jury members' reactions because they didn't take their love seriously. Good for you. The men wanted to know more, what they were doing. There was an awkward silence as everyone looked at them, as it was written in their profile. Their exes had fallen in love with each other at first sight, and so the relationship between the couple had begun. Finally, it was finally over. As it turned out, Bong Yoon-sik was not a bad actor. In any case, He did better than Yang Taran could have expected, only he should have been more careful about acting that they didn't discuss, otherwise there might have been problems in their performance. They were behaving with dignity though. He wasn't a kid anymore, but suddenly the show would have to do something worse than it was today. You can really fall in love in reality shows like this, but that would never happen to him. Yang Taran believed that Bong Yoon-sik just had to work up the courage, even though there were quite a few guys running after her too. Except, in his opinion, she had nothing to worry about. That bastard. The jury members noticed that these two were from the same university, Gongjoa. Yang Taran even studied in the same department. It was very interesting. It was time for the individual interview. Bong Yoon-sik and Yang Taran were asked to go to the auditorium. The main interview was over, but they had prepared additional questions especially for their pair. It was known that the guys hadn't dated for more than 5 days, so the staff decided to test how well they knew each other. So here's a question for you. Her boyfriend's favorite band, how could she even know? Oh no, she didn't. Brilliant idol. Did her answer have to be the same? It wasn't. Young Taran decided to try randomly. Beat. She liked them too. As it turned out, it was the right answer. The jury member thought the girl would answer at random, but it was correct. The only thing left to do was to finish her part. Now a question for Bong Yoon-sik. What is Yang Taran's favorite alcoholic drink? It was a fail. I guess it was too complicated, except he had the answer. Crystal with Guinness. The guy remembered the very night he'd met her throwing out the trash. That's the right answer. Right on the bullseye, the man thought the question puzzled the guy, but it was unbelievable. It seemed that the couple did have real feelings for each other. There was no doubt about it. Bong Yoon-sik didn't think that hating her would come in handy. Yang Taran ran up to him and asked him about his favorite music group. He liked the lyrics and music, which was surprising to her. About her question, the guy guessed. It wasn't easy though. Gongjoa received a call from the producer. So Cho Young-mo asked to be put on speakerphone. There was some very entertaining news for the couple. Were they familiar with K-Meke Entertainment? They said that if the couple maintained the highest rating throughout the show, they would be signed a contract with them. Cho Ji-yomo and Gongjoa thought that finally there was nothing but a path strewn with flowers ahead of them. Except they couldn't imagine that there was a couple who was going to ruin their plans. The producer of the new show called Yang Taran what was in store for them. Cho Yan-mo was fixated on the negative comments under his photos. According to them, he dressed too plain and ordinary. No one was good for him. So what should he have worn on the first day of filming? Maybe Gongjoa could help him out. The girl had no sense of style. She had even only recently started fancying herself. Wasn't Cho Young-mo being a little too obsessive? She liked the way he dressed. However, the guy had Yang Taran picking out all of his clothes, and now she was doing it with Bong Yoon-sik. The girl didn't get discouraged, but she didn't give up hope of finding the right look either. Above, Chung Yang-mo and Gongjoa decided to conduct a compatibility test. They were asked to click on a link that was sent to them. It resembled a game. First, the guy was asked to go on a date and choose a girl who he met next. His character spilled coffee on her. How would he proceed? Of course, this isn't really a compatibility test. It's a test on choosing the perfect soulmate. According to the preferences will be selected the most suitable candidate for dating. This will be the first shoot. Cho Gi-yeon-mo was really nervous. But didn't Gongjoa feel nervous? It's the first day of filming. They couldn't let their feelings be shaken. He had promised her. For Gongjoa, however, he was the only one. So the filming begins. They were given a letter. It was to be opened when they were alone. How they were to say goodbye and go away. The compatibility test that Cho Young-mo took was actually a test to find the perfect soulmate. He was asked to go to the meeting place with his ideal one now. For Gongjoa, it was also a surprise. She was slightly uneasy. Who was going to show up? And so the partner said hello, but who would have thought that he could have changed so much in such a short period of time? What about Cho Gi-young-mo? He also appreciated his new partner's style, and it was unexpected for him. Now it's time for some sweet revenge. A man asked his ex-girlfriend not to joke around with him like that, except she pretended she didn't understand what was being said. They were being filmed. The heroine was happy to meet him. She didn't expect to meet such a handsome guy. Really, it seemed like the first date was going to go great. It was crazy. What kind of situation is this? Yang Tae-rin, on the other hand, was happy about his confusion. She immediately guessed about the test, so the twosome was already ready. But why was the girl still the perfect partner for Cho Gyang-mo? Bong Yeon-sik was also happy to meet Gong Joo. She, on the other hand, couldn't understand how this could happen. She felt like it was some kind of surprise. The guy invited her to walk to the date spot, but all the way there, they were silent, and Gong Joo was in some kind of prostration. Bong Yeon-sik continued to play his role, thinking that his new partner was rather shy. He felt a little embarrassed and tried his best to hide it. And after all, the guy never introduced himself. Though why should he, if they already knew each other? It was said that it was a date with the perfect partner. Bong Yeon-sik didn't really expect to meet his ideal partner. Neither did Gong Joo. Her facial expression screamed it. His slightest movements frightened her. Of course! Even Cho Gyang-mo was embarrassed to be alone with Yang Tae-rin, so it was she who took the initiative. The guys would be practicing ceramics. By the way, the girl was a pro at it, even though she was hiding it on camera. Cho Gyang-mo seemed to feel awkward. But what was he thinking about Yang Tae-rin? This is a date with the perfect partner, the one most suited to his preferences. Was she his ideal? The man began to shake. He definitely couldn't be turned away from an honest answer now. Cho Gyang-mo replied that Yang Tae-rin was similar to his ideal type. Did that mean liked active girls just like her? He seemed to be her type, even too much so. A stylish, handsome guy who looked like a puppy. Are you sure this isn't a dream? The man still couldn't believe it. The couple moved into a luxurious apartment, just like a real reality show. But Cho Gyang-mo didn't share her joy. He wanted to talk to her. The house was very beautiful. There must have been cameras everywhere. It would be a little awkward since all the conversations would be shown live. And here came the second couple. Then the third, the two real couples had already met, and we were discussing the past day, but Cho Yeon-mo and Yang Tae-rin kept waiting. The girl complimented them on their style. Should they have gotten to know each other? For example, these two had already been together for 10 kids, so their couple was called 10 years. How long had they put up with each other? Suddenly, the front door opened, and they appeared on the doorstep. Surprise! Now it was okay to introduce themselves, the transfer couple. Their exes were in love with each other and had broken up with them, causing them to start dating. Checkmate. Yang Tae-rin and Bong Yeon-sik had only been dating for 5 days at the time of their application. It was so touching. As a couple, they tried everything. And this was a reunited couple. Jae-yuri and Kwa-nuri, these two are Lee Mung-jo and Dong-hee. Honestly, it's not a matter of principle. Cho Gyang-mo and Gong Joo, on the other hand, were a popular couple because they were celebrities. Bong Yeon-sik, on the other hand, noticed that she participated by fully revealing her personality. Although she behaved differently with him, the filming was briefly suspended. Cho Gyang-mo decided to seize the moment and led Yang Tae-rin away, demanding that she explain herself. To him, her behavior was laughable. Did she really want to get back at them? She even lied about dating Bong Yeon-sik. But who said it was a lie? Cho Gyang-mo refused to believe it. Yang Tae-rin and her roommate had really gotten close, and they decided to participate because they really wanted to. Except that when Cho Gyang-mo had called her here, she had ignored his request. So what changed? If she had agreed to his proposal back then this whole thing wouldn't have gotten this far. Fortunately, Bong Yeon-sik came just in time. Even Gong Joo couldn't believe it now. Did they plan this whole thing? Was this really all they wanted to tell them? Yang Tae-rin was happy to see them. But now, what a way to make a fuss. The girl stopped because it amused her so much. Did she succeed in playing the role of a suffering ex? Worthy of an award? But Gong Joo was sure that Cho Gyang-mo had chosen Yang Tae-rin as the perfect partner. Sure, he felt guilty, but wasn't it a mistake on her part too? Lee Mung-jo and Dong Hye-sti were getting ready to get married. They had been in a relationship for 10 years. They decided to come on the show to see if they really should get married. Jiyuri and Kwanuri, on the other hand, have gotten back and forth over 10 times, but they never thought they would still be together for so long. In fact, physically, they were a great match. On the show, they wanted to find out if it was true that they were only bonded by physical intimacy or not. Everything is already known about these two. They came here to become even more popular. Together, the guys wanted to get even more recognition. Yang, Taerin, and Bong. Hyunsik wanted to show that time is not the most important thing in love. They wanted to show a more passionate nature than anyone else here. This place even had its own rules. The other members surrounded Gong Joa and wondered where she had been missing all this time. Bong Hyunsik knew that talking like that would make her feel uncomfortable. Kwanuri decided to clarify. If it was true that the point of the show was really about physical contact with another couple, wasn't that fascinating? Except Yang Taerin didn't need anyone besides Bong Hyunsik. The girl decided to go make coffee, and Gong Jua followed her. It had been so long, so it was unusual to see her outside of Yunai. Yang Taerin asked Bong Hyunsik to help her, except Gong Jua decided to cheat. She spilled the coffee on purpose. The man pushed his ex-girlfriend away, while the current girlfriend got burned. What was going on? Gong Joa was only happy about the situation. She felt pleasure. What guy in this situation would even care about someone else's girlfriend? Bong Hyunsik couldn't handle it. Who would believe them that they were dating? Gong Joa felt it too. Bong Hyunsik so didn't know why he acted this way. Thanks to the first hug, between two people who were not couples, the touch menu became available. This was no longer a joke. It was much more serious than they had thought. Are they really going to have to kiss someone? Can't they just touch 100 times? So Kwanuri could legitimately touch other girls? The contestants on the show had already been welcomed. From now on, they would become the separators. The more they could destroy other couples' relationships through touching and using tactics, the more likely they were to win. Only one winner will receive a cash prize. How much will the couple's relationships on the show break down, or on the contrary, become stronger? It all depended on the contestants themselves. Now we could familiarize ourselves with the rules. For each touch, both contestants received a reward. In case of refusal, the reward did not count for both of them. It was forbidden to touch your real partner. In case of being caught on such a thing, the winnings would be cut. This rule also applied to the time the partners would spend all filming. It was a surprise for everyone. They could get the cash prize only after they had passed the final test. First, they had to put on the watch that was on the table. With their help, it will be possible to check their account. The show The Couple Breaker begins. From this point on, everyone was forbidden to touch their partner. Therefore, everyone was allowed to touch him or her goodbye. Some may have been embarrassed, but some were happy to play on other people's emotions. Bong Hyunsik, on the other hand, remembered Yang Taerin's words. What kind of guy would even care about someone else's girlfriend? They had to make everyone believe that they were dating. Was that why he took matters into his own hands? What was Bong Hyunsik doing? Although it seems like that's what everyone was waiting for. The kiss was definitely meant to bring some clarity. But it's not cool at all. What a passion. It's too indecent. Who would even do such a thing? Bong Hyunsik didn't understand what was going on, because they've done worse. Hidden meaning. You have to give your best all the time and not pay much attention to it. Well, the kiss could be considered a declaration of war. Proof of their strong relationship. There was a fire between them. Gong Jua, on the other hand, wanted to talk to Bong Hyunsik. But about what? Luckily, he refused on his own. The girl whispered that he'd once been against being fancy, except that it's inherent in man to change. Someone also said something like that. These two were talking as if Yang Taerin wasn't around. It's time for Pandora's mission. Check the location. Pandora's mission is an individual secret mission. If they successfully complete it, they will be awarded 5 million won. It is strictly forbidden to reveal the details of the mission to others. For example, Gong Jua being alone with a member of the opposite gender at close range for more than 10 minutes. Cho Gyongmo, on the other hand, had to ignore his girlfriend more than 5 times. Yang Tae-rin should have told another contestant of the opposite Paul that she was jealous of his girlfriend. Now the game has really begun. Dong-hee offered to cook something and asked if there were any people who wanted to go to the market. Yang Tae-rin decided to take advantage of the situation and grab Cho Gyongmo's hand, asking him to join. Holding hands as 100,000 won. Bong Yeon-sik, on the other hand, invited Gong Jo-a. She was getting angry as she looked at the couple, although these two were also feeling uncomfortable since they were connected by more. Yang Tae-rin didn't even let Gong Jo-a sit in the front. Wouldn't it be better for her to sit next to her Bong Yeon-sik from behind? How angry the girl was. Cho Gyongmo, on the other hand, was pondering that he couldn't avoid her all the time, so he decided to help with the seatbelt. He seemed to look happy. Bong Yeon-sik, on the other hand, wanted to believe that he didn't force his ex-girlfriend to ride together. It was nothing like that. Even though she responded like that, she still remembered about the kiss. Yang Tae-rin specifically chose only Cho Gyongmo's favorite foods. Bong Yeon-sik, on the other hand, was trying to make sure his partner didn't get dirty. What's wrong with her face? The score so far. Kwa Nuri had 10,000 won. Gong Jo-a had 0, and so did Bong Yeon-sik and Lee Moon-ju. Dong-hee had 10,000. Cho Gyongmo and Yang Tae-rin each had 120,000 won. A new time-limited mission was starting. Within 10 minutes, there would be an opportunity to earn 10 million won. And if they failed, all participants would be charged 5 million won each. It seems the producers were angry because the cast was too passive. What are they gonna do? Shouldn't they hold hands once? If they do it 10 times, it'll be 10 million won. Yang Tae-rin suddenly grabbed Cho Gyongmo while there were conversations going on all around and kissed him. This was something no one expected. What's going to happen next? Yang Tae-rin and Cho Gyongmo each earn 10 million won. What's Gong Jo-a going to do now? All she could do was insult. The girl got up from the table and rushed away while Cho Gyongmo tried to explain herself after her. He touched her. And the system told him that the touch of a real couple had been seen. Cho Gyongmo and Gong Jo-a were charged 100,000 won each. But thanks to them, Kwa Nori was able to avoid the fine. Gong Jo-a thought it was strange. In fact, it pissed her off, but Cho Gyongmo was also embarrassed. Because of the possible fine, he couldn't refuse. But Bong Yeon-sik didn't care. All he could think about was that his girlfriend was doing well. It's separators. There shouldn't be any complaints, right? Well, it was necessary to change the general attitude. It's just a game, but Cho Gyongmo couldn't forget that kiss, and that made his girlfriend very angry. And Kwa Nuri was thinking about who he would like to touch. He offered Yang Tae-rin some wine, and she gladly accepted it. His girlfriend exclaimed how much Lee Mong-ju's glasses were going on. But his fiancé tried to keep her cool. It's a game. It's just a game. Which means you have to keep your cool. If you shake the wine, the flavor will become more. That's enough. Yang Tae-rin wouldn't let him do more. She could have made even more money. So why was Cho Gyongmo so worried about it? What on earth was she doing to him? His heart was pounding loudly. Once inside, Gong Jo-a asked Bong Yeon-sik to go to the room with her. She remembered her assignment. And he agreed. There, the girl wanted to know, didn't he get mad when his girlfriend kissed another guy? Of course it was bold, but Yang Tae-rin was actively participating in the game. Was it true that they loved each other? So much so that Bong Yeon-sik supported everything she did. Is that it? He walked out of the room with Cho Gyongmo appearing on the doorstep, dumbfounded. He wondered what the two of them were doing alone, to which Gong Jo-a replied that they were just having a dialogue. Was the girl still angry about that kiss? She answered in the negative, citing the fact that Cho Gyongmo didn't want it. The next time Yang Tae-rin offered him a drink of wine, the guy took it, albeit with suspicion. Was he very surprised then? Definitely. The girl liked it though. He was definitely more confused now. Cho Gyongmo didn't know how to react properly. She liked the kiss after all. Yang Tae-rin was jealous of his girlfriend. She did it. She had done her assignment. Only Cho Gyongmo didn't know that, which was why his reaction was so embarrassed. What was this Yang Tae-rin up to? Why were they drinking, just the two of them? All the other actors joined in happily. But look at Gongjua's face. Someone even wanted her to sing. Well, the girl agreed. She was applauded. But she wasn't happy. When Gongjua sang, Yoon-sik acted really weird. And young Taerin saw that. But it really was great. The former singer went outside, and Yoon-sik followed her. Was there really something he wanted to say to her? He remembered all the things he had said to her back then, when Gongjua needed support, when she didn't believe in herself. What had changed? She was beautiful when she sang. Those words had taken her aback. The most beautiful of everyone here. Her heart was pounding frantically because of embarrassment. Well, it was time for anonymous letters. In the Hune hour, they could mail a letter. Write a short message with only the recipient's name and put it in the mailbox. Participation was optional. And also, you could not write to your other half. And now it was time for the results to be tallied. Gongjua got 20,000, Yoon-sik got 80,000, Cho Jeongmo got 10,220,000, and Taerin got 10,520,000 won. She was in the lead. Pandora's mission could now be revealed. Everyone was terribly curious. Nori failed when he tried to hug Yang Taerin. Cho Jeongmo also failed. Yang Taerin, on the other hand, was able to do it. What about Yoon-sik? The guy had to tell the other contestant that she was the prettiest. Wow, what a game. But Gongjua believed it. Gongjua's anger took over. She believed her ex-boyfriend and even wrote a letter. Well, it seemed unnecessary because now it wouldn't be needed.